Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin and Cardano. We're going to take a look at both charts in this video, and we take a first look here on CoinMarketCap. We can see that overall the market is a little bit in the red, a little bit difficult, sideways movement pretty much with a slight downside. As always, there are exceptions, but overall Bitcoin burned its fingers a little bit yesterday when it tried to get to 45k again and was rejected, and it's now a little bit on its way down. Nothing significant overall, still sideways movement, and we're going to take a look. At first look into Bitcoin.com. What I wanted to show you is here these Bitcoin wallet sizes here, where you can actually check the Bitcoin. It's completely free, so you can check the Bitcoin wallet sizes of wallets that have more than 1 Bitcoin, more than 10 Bitcoin, more than 100. And more than 1,000. Of course, more than 1,000, they are the huge whales. They could be exchanges, institutions, or people with a lot of money, right? But 1,000 Bitcoin is quite a bit. So, what really fell into my, or jumped into my eye was so here you've got the correlation. In blue is the Bitcoin price, and in orange are the wallets. And what you can see is typically that these people know when market conditions get more difficult. So as you can see here, since we had the all-time high, the previous all-time high of Bitcoin back in 21. Let me just zoom in. So when we had the back then all-time high in early 21, you can see that these wallets, they did massively do a sell-off, because they knew what would be coming. They knew what we've been talking about here on this channel, the Bitcoin correction. And I mean, back then the price was around 60k, so they did sell actually a little bit before that, and the price also dropped as a result. So that always makes me wonder, do these people or institutions really, do they know something? But anyway, the price did go down. We've been talking about for a long time that in April the correction really started, and that we've nearly had a year of a Bitcoin correction. People don't necessarily seem to think that, because the wave B, which is part of the correction, in November was an all-time high. But my perspective is that this was actually part of the correction, and it might never have been planned that it is an overshooting wave B and is a new all-time high, because it's high risk. A wave B, as I've said so many times, is hard to trade. It is unpredictable. It can overshoot the preceding all-time high, which makes it so difficult. But since then, we've obviously been in a further correction again after the wave B was finished. And throughout this whole period, the institutions or the whales have not bought. Maybe they have bought, but the number of Bitcoin wallets above 1,000 has not significantly increased. There was a slight peak here in July, a very slight peak, before we actually made this wave B run to the new all-time high. But when that happened, they sold off again a little bit. Now this is very significant here. A huge jump, and again, that might have been related to the current conflict that's going on in the world, but a huge jump in addresses over 1,000, basically from one day to another. End of February here. It jumped from 2,128 to 2,266. There is more than 100 addresses, 130 roughly, that suddenly have or own more than 1,000 Bitcoin that weren't there before. I find that quite interesting. The price jumped a little bit as a result. That is the price jump that we saw here. There was a bit of a jump here in the last few weeks, wasn't it, of Bitcoin? So that was probably related, but it's quite interesting. Just want to point that out. Could be related to, in Russia, for example, they're not allowed to leave the country anymore, so they might put into Bitcoin, whatever. There is certainly an element here, and I found that quite interesting. Whatever that means, doesn't mean it's whales. They know that price might go up now. Is it really related to the conflict? It makes it so difficult to really put into context, but that's why I prefer to look at the charts and look at the Elliott Wave Analysis, because there are so many factors, you can read so much into it. But it's certainly interesting that Bitcoin is used here in this current conflict, in sort of that respect. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin still in the correction, 43.5k. As you know, my primary expectation is we sell off here straight away into the yellow target area between 20 and 29k. The alternative gets live above 46.5k, where the Bitcoin price could go into an ideal to an ideal target level of 55, but maybe even all the way up to 65k. And I told you, if we break above that 46.5k level, this ascending trend line here, this neckline of the head and shoulders, this large one here, and also it's a Fibonacci level on top of that, currently sitting there accidentally at the same level, then I'm going to enter a long trade. I did explain that in the previous video, waiting for the retest, and then we should see higher prices. I will then take profits at a later stage. But for now, Bitcoin obviously trying to get, you can see it here, if I zoom in, you can see that wick that came up here to 45.3. Bitcoin got too high, got rejected, tried it, bulls burnt their fingers, and since then we've been moving down again, and we are still in this sort of triangle, descending triangle, however you want to call it, or just triangle pattern. But yeah, this was a rejection. Since then the price actually moved down all the way to nearly 43k, or actually just slightly below 43k, and is still holding here at the moment, but made a slightly lower low. And I do primarily expect the price to sell off from here below 41.5k, and then also consequently below these support levels here at what's the next one? The next one will be here actually 37k. I think I probably accidentally moved that as 37k. Then we've got 34.5 and 33. That is what I do expect primarily, and I have to expect that until we have not broken the 46.5k level. So that is still what is at play here. That is still what I see, because the longer the bulls need here to make a move, and we had a rejection already, the longer the bulls need to make a move, the more bearish the indicators are going to turn. We've already had here the MACD on the 4-hour chart turning red. On the 8-hour chart, if the bulls don't really do something now, we are going to see this in the next couple of days as well. A bearish crossover on the 8-hour MACD might be coming then. I think on the daily we are probably still further away from that, but it means just that the bulls need to do something, otherwise you're going to lose this bullish momentum, okay, and then you're gonna turn down. And yeah, primary expectation is still the sell-off, and that goes in line. I mean, we've got the alternative scenario, right? We've got the alternative scenario where Bitcoin is going to move up higher, above 46.5k, could then move to 55 and then come down. So pretty much something like where we do this and then come down, okay? And to be honest, both scenarios would work very well with this pattern that I showed you previously. I showed you this this pattern, the domed house pattern, the 3 peaks and the domed house, where you basically have a longer period. And for Bitcoin as well, this whole period has now taken over a year, not nearly a year, yeah, where also we did this, we did these 3 peaks. That was, in my view, let's zoom out. Oh no, so it didn't, it's a touch screen. There you go. That was, in my view, here, those 3 peaks here. That was February, March 21, maybe even April. So we had the 3 peaks, then we had the sell-off period here, that is even here on this in this book highlighted in yellow. So you had this here, then you had your this sort of a jump, yeah, in price, another accumulation phase here. Now that was back in August 21. Then we had another small sell-off, and then this domed house, right? And if we go back to that book, you can see it here as well. That was then back in that was in November, yeah. Same here, back in November, and we're now in this move down, which is basically this, yeah. And the question is now, this peak here, yeah, this last attempt of the bulls to really make a move, and that is actually what I expected after the 4th of December. So when we came down here initially on the 4th of December, yeah, with this, what is highlighted here as green wave 3, I did expect this move up then. However, it seems like we could really be seeing it now with what I've highlighted here in red, this potential alternative scenario where we break above 46.5k and then come down here, and will form a lower low coming down below the wave A low in June. So that would be a lower low. That is what I'm looking for Bitcoin. And again, I do this from an Elliott Wave point of view, but again, you've got this pattern, the three peaks in the domed house showing the same stuff. So you just need to complete this correction. Otherwise, you're never going to finish the correction, and you will do it at a later stage. And this wouldn't be good, because it just would mean that while money can be made in this wave up here, it will just extend the pain, right? We all want new all-time highs. We want sustainable new all-time highs. So yeah, still gonna see here. It will get to the level without a doubt. It's just a question: do we do it straight away, or do we break above 46.5k and it will take a bit longer? Yeah, that's it. And sustainable new all-time high, or a sustainable new uptrend for Bitcoin won't start as long as we break above 68.5k. Yeah, and currently I can't see it. I just can't see it. And even if we do it, should we do it and break above that level, 68.5k, which has a very low probability anyway from where we are at the moment in the chart structure, I wouldn't have a lot of confidence, because how much higher can you go? Maybe 70, maybe 80k before you get exhausted again. But again, even then, money can be made. So that is why I say above 46.5k, I'm going to open a trading long position. I've already dollar cost averaged in below 40k anyway. So yeah, prepared for all scenarios here. I think that's what it's about. But yeah, just want to highlight that it is not only the Elliott Wave method that is predicting here this move down that has to happen. No, it's also here this three peaks and the domed house pattern. And in a previous video, I showed you already the S&P 500, the super cycle, which did a very, 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 very similar move to Bitcoin. I mean, I can just show it to you here again. Let me just do that to show you the S&P 500, not the latest count, but I just want to show you here that this is just, again, also in small water. No, not that actually. That is not what I mean. Let me, I need to go further back in the history. So just an example here, where also we had this peak. Yeah, we came down. That is basically here the peak back in, we could call that the peak that Bitcoin did in February, March 21. Yeah, then we came down in the sell-off. June, we peaked in another wave B to the upside, overshooting wave B, before we then came down in an ABC correction. Pretty much what we're doing now. So I do expect that lower low, and it's just happening all over again. It has to happen, right? You have to have you have to have these lower lows. Okay, if I go to the weekly chart, you might see it even clearer. It is what happens all over again. It has to happen here. That's what I mean. That's what Bitcoin has done as well. Peak back in February 21, coming down to a low, a swing low, coming up, higher high, all-time high, Bitcoin November 2021, and this is what I'm looking for here, the Bitcoin final sell-off. All right, that is what I am looking for. Now Cardano dropping at the moment, yeah, below 92 cents again. It did break out, did make an attempt to break, or it's still broken out. It broke out of this descending wedge that we had here on the chart. So I go to the 4-hour chart. You might see it a little bit better. Here on the 4-hour chart, talked about that the 4-hour MACD was turning bearish again, and as a result you saw the price drop here out of this channel, or maybe could be considered a bull flag, but as you know, these patterns sometimes just don't work out. We saw it on the MACD that it was turning bearish, and however, it's still now above this ascending trend line. It's currently a pullback to this ascending trend line, but if that doesn't hold, that ascending trend line, then we are going to drop here, probably touch that descending trend line of the wedge again, which would be at 85 cents. That would also be together with that swing low here at from the 28th of Feb. If you lose that, then you're gonna touch probably the support level here in this the lower support of that wedge again, and that would be around 75 cents, maybe even a little bit lower here, around 72, but the previous swing low was 75. So for me, it's all about this current support level. If that holds, there is a real risk we are going to do another lower low and then fall back lower. So the Cardano is just not convincing at the moment what it's doing. Not a lot of volume, even though there are more and more transactions on the network. So it's going to grow. We're going to get back into the bull run. I'm convinced about that, but we don't have any significant signs yet that the run is over. And so far in the last few days, it hasn't really moved a lot. Yeah, it hasn't really moved. I mean, to be fair, since the low here at 75 cents, Cardano has made to today 22%, which is not bad, right? But for that you would have had to buy the lowest point here. I didn't buy the lowest point, but I had a few buy orders trigger here somewhere in the region. And again, it could have finished its correction, but what is coming here to the upside currently is a little bit too weak. Other cryptos have made around 40% already in that period, like VeChain, since it touched the low. And for VeChain, I said in the video as well that it could have really already completed the correction because it also hit my target area. But if Bitcoin is losing that, if Cardano is losing that ascending trend line here and is losing these support levels, it's going to get into the target area between 30 and 55 cents, would still be my primary expectation here for Cardano. Alright, that's my view here on Bitcoin and Cardano. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. You can do that on my website or here on YouTube. And for both, you can find the link in the description. And these membership options will give you access to a weekly live stream. And then depending on which membership you get, you can access the Telegram live chat, the Discord server, and also for gold members, an analysis of stocks and shares. And this is still very new. I've only recently started to add it, but so far we've looked at Procter & Gamble, looked at Palantir, looked at 3M, looked at Amazon and PayPal, and also the S&P 500. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.